Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangham namassami. Good morning, dear friends, and welcome to this sutta discussion from the Empty Cloud Monastery in New Jersey. I am Ayya Sobhana, and we are continuing to consider various teachings related to the factors of awakening, the Sambojjhanga. Today's sutta is called either Virtue in Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation or Ethics in Bhante Sujata's translation. It's the Sila Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, number 46.3. So chapter 46 is the chapter about the factors of awakening, and this is the third teaching in that sutta. As you can see, I've gradually mastered a few of the features of this new streaming software that we're using. So I hope that we'll be able to focus on the Dhamma and not focus too much on the technology. Mendicants. When a mendicant is accomplished in ethics, immersion, knowledge, freedom, or the knowledge and vision of freedom, even the sight of them is very helpful, I say. So if a bhikkhu is, or a bhikkhuni, or a monastic teacher, you may think in these days, any Dhamma teacher who you encounter, you should feel lucky if they have these qualities. If they're accomplished in ethics, if they're accomplished in samadhi, that's in a deep meditation, jhana meditation, tranquility meditation. If they're accomplished in jnana, or knowledge, that is to say, they've gained the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths, the direct knowing of the Four Noble Truths, that's a direct realization. If they're accomplished in freedom, that's a vimukti, that's an outcome of the realization of understanding or insight, direct personal insight into the Four Noble Truths would be the experience of insight, no longer being bound by craving, no longer being completely bound or tied up in the fetters that keep us going around and around. And then the last one is being accomplished in Vimutti Jnana Dasana. So this is, you've got your freedom, and you know that you're free. You have the knowledge and vision of this freedom. In that case, even the sight of them is very helpful. This sutta is given along the lines of the gradual training, where you see one factor that leads to the next factor, and the next one leads to the next, leads to the next. That's why I named this talk the factors of awakening step by step. The gradual training has many, many, many different kinds of examples of this step-by-step progress that can be made. In dependent origination, you could see the downward spiral starting with ignorance and culminating in lamentation, sorrow, pain, grief, and despair. A step-by-step progression down the hill into the dukkha of samsara. In other teachings about the Nisaya, there's a different step-by-step factor progress that starts with faith and goes to joy, goes to tranquility, and then is sort of an upward path digging your way out of the ditch. So from the very pit of being able to see how bad it is being in this world of the suffering of our samsaric existence. If you can see the negative habits that you have in your mind and in your emotions, in your reactions, in your way of seeing, in your behavior, if you might not yet be free, but you would be able to know, oh, when I get triggered in this way, I react in that way, and then I get in trouble, and then I feel ashamed, and then I become obsessed with my shame and remorse, and then I become compulsive, and then I get in more trouble, something like that. So that's like a negative, that's like actually getting some insight in being able to see in detail what our internal psychological process is, and seeing the difficulties with our natural human psychological process, but not yet seeing the freedom or the way to the freedom. So then what to do? Then the Buddha is saying, let's get on the ladder, let's get on the trail, let's get on the path that leads out of this suffering. And it starts here with a couple of preliminary steps that are preliminary to starting with the factors of awakening. So the first one is seeing a teacher who is accomplished in these ways. It's mentioned in connection with becoming a stream winner. One of the four factors is associating with upright, righteous persons, upright people, associating with good people. This is why it says here that even the sight of teachers who are accomplished in this way. Recently here at the monastery, I've been working in our library, and through the form of their written words bound in books, I have touched many hundred of Dhamma teachers from all periods of history in all corners of the world, from ancient India through the diaspora, through East Asia, through Southeast Asia, the arrival of Buddhism in the West, teachers in many sizes, shapes, and forms. And we see with so much gratitude and appreciation how many teachers have used their voices and their experience and background to make the Dhamma be meaningful to people at different times, different places, different cultural situations. And so we can be so appreciative that today we have teachers here in the West who have brought the Dhamma and who are presenting it in a way which is meaningful to us here and now. So even the sight is helpful. Why? Even to hear them, approach them, pay homage to them, recollect them. It's a contemplating about those teachers, or to go forth following those teachers, is very helpful. Why? Because after hearing the teaching of such teachers, a mendicant will live withdrawn both in body and mind. This is Vupakasa. So that withdrawal of the body means that they would have withdrawn from activities that stimulate their addiction to sensual pleasures. So they will have given up dancing, music, singing, and shows and makeup and perfumes, and they will have given up gambling and going to bars and drinking and going to boxing matches and wrestling matches. They will have given up going to visit armories and watching battles. They've given up going to dog fights and cockfights and other kinds of violent entertainments. They will have withdrawn themselves from getting obsessed with the battle aspect of politics, where you're concerned about who's winning and who's losing, and how the one side is able to accumulate something in order to ruin the other side. All of that is like the bodily withdrawal, the separation. And then the mental withdrawal is that the mind has, it came to be secluded from the negative mental states. So you gave up planning and imagining and wishing and pondering about dancing, music, singing, and shows, going to bars, drinking, having cockfights, going to armies, going to all kinds of things that are negative. So you don't spend your time mentally living in that world of negativity and addiction. And you also become, you learn to recognize the qualities like greed, anger, depression, agitation, and skepticism, which make it, or a hindrance that prevent being successful in practice. And having come to realize that even these more subtle factors are actually a barrier, a block, a problem, you gradually learn how to separate your mind, withdraw your mind from being engaged in nourishing and growing and being dominated by those qualities. So that's the withdrawal in the body and the mind. And then this next one, they recollect and think about the teaching. This is also a preliminary practice which is explained in the factors of the Dhamma, factors of stream entry. It's mentioned that having associated with upright righteous people, you should listen to the Dhamma. And by listening to the Dhamma, that actually means you learn the Dhamma. So it doesn't mean it goes in one ear, not the other ear. In the olden days, they didn't have books and they didn't have AI, they didn't have all of these assistive devices for their learning. Instead, to learn something, they just sat with their ears and their eyes and they listened. And having listened, they're able to remember. So then having listened, the next step in the other teaching about stream entry is practicing wise attention. So then it's like putting on an outfit, or you put on a jacket, you put on a hat or something like that, and then having put it on, you wear it and see how it works for you. Is it comfortable? Does it protect you from the elements? Do you look well wearing that outfit? So then you will test internally within your own experience whether the things that you learned are really true or not. Are they really beneficial or not? When you apply these teachings, can you yourself directly see the benefit from applying these teachings? So that's what's meant by recollecting and thinking about the teaching. At such a time, a mendicant that's a meditator has awakened the awakening factor of mindfulness. So mindfulness is called sati. Sati is very often translated and explained in terms of being present to what's arising in the here and now. It's explained in terms of developing wise perception, being able to see things as they actually are. But another aspect of mindfulness is related to memory. So if you're really present, awake, alert, paying attention, and not clouded by delusion, then you will be able to notice what's happening in the here and now, and you will be able to recollect it later on. So you've got that factor of memory. But in this sutta, it's kind of tied together with the idea of having learned, remembered the Dhamma teaching. So mindfulness in this case has got a kind of a secondary meaning that's brought into it. It's associated with you heard the Dhamma and you remembered the Dhamma, and remembering the Dhamma is your mindfulness. Or I could say another way that mindfulness is sometimes explained is you remember to be mindful. So you remember to apply your wise attention to be present in the here and now, and you remember to do this more and more continuously. So your memory is working because you're remembering to apply the teachings that you learned. Now it's giving, it mentions that they have initiated this awakening factor of mindfulness, and then they develop it. They perfect it. So there's like three stages of bringing more power and strength. So merely because of impermanence, somebody who's not very skillful could have a second of being mindful from time to time because they forget to be deluded for a second. And so for a second they see things as they are, and it's sort of like a flash of insight. But having had a flash of insight because you develop some wisdom, you can recognize that as being something precious and wonderful, and having recommended how precious it is, then you cultivate. This developing bhavana is the last 3 points of the Eightfold Noble Path. So learning how to let go of unskillful qualities in the mind and how to develop the wholesome qualities, even being able to distinguish wholesome and unwholesome qualities and developing, that's part of the bhavana, developing. And then the mindfulness itself is part of developing, and developing a samadhi or concentration is part of developing. So this is like you're nourishing the underlying factors. And then you just keep doing this again and again and again and again, and eventually you come to perfecting this factor. So while they live mindfully in this way, they investigate, explore, and inquire into that teaching with wisdom. At such a time, a mendicant has initiated the awakening factor of investigation of principles, investigation of the Dhamma. So that's the second of the awakening factors. So if you're practicing mindfulness meditation, if you direct your awareness to the sensations in the body, for example, and you become aware of many different aspects of this experience with the sensations in the body. You may notice that certain perceptions come along. Like you could have the perception, this is my stomach, right? Or this is my knee, this is my arm. Or you could have a feeling, this is pleasant or this is not pleasant. Or you could have notice, instead of seeing it as this is my stomach or this is my elbow, you could see it as there's the earth element, like the hardness of it, and there's the air element that's like the shooting pains, and see them in terms of the elements. So you're like discovering, as you practice mindfulness, you're discovering many different ways to, the different details about one's experience can come to the fore. And so that is naturally, from the result of mindfulness, these opportunities come up to see many different elements within the experience. So then you're not simply just having like a gross, superficial experience like my knee hurts. Instead, you can notice a dozen different ways that that phenomena is arising. You can see so many things within it. And then the solidity of that experience, my knee hurts, starts to fall apart. And so you lose the sense of solidity with different kinds of perceptions. And so that's part of this investigation, this exploration is noticing and seeing how things fall apart with mindfulness. So you see everything is arising, it's falling apart. It's coming up, you've got a clear perception, and it's like it's very bright and solid and noticeable, and then it's falling apart. And so you just explore and explore, you keep watching that. So that's how this investigation, it's not like an artificial mechanical process. It could be mechanical at one level, like if you take a class on the elements and they teach you how to examine the body in terms of the different elements of materiality. And so like you're mechanically doing that, you're mechanically saying, okay, where's the water element? And so I can feel some water element in my mouth. But after you've mastered and acquired these different types of perceptions, then you don't have to do it mechanically. It's very intuitive and natural, and just the byproduct of mindfulness. This is why, one reason why it's sometimes said that mindfulness is a training of a way of seeing things based on skillful perceptions. So you will have learned a variety of different ways of noticing and seeing different aspects of the experiences that come up. And those are skillful. So then once mendicant has initiated the awakening factor of the investigation of principles, again, develop it. initiate, develop, perfect. And then when that happens, as they investigate principles with wisdom in this way, their energy is roused up and unflagging. So this is the third factor of awakening. It's called energy. In this case, the investigation of principles is called investigation of Dhamma. When Bhante Sujato translates as principles, he is referring to the principles of the nature of reality as it has been explained and taught, pointed out, and analyzed by the Buddha. You could say that in this previous step of investigation, you've heard the Dhamma and learned the Dhamma, and you have a question in your mind, well, is this true or not? Is the Buddhist teaching true? Maybe I should try a different religion. So you check it out. And as you look inside at your own experience, then you can discover for yourself the truth of these teachings, and you can discover for yourself that these teachings are beneficial. So when somebody yells at me, I feel painful, and then having heard the teachings of the Buddha, I could say, oh, there is dukkha. I say, yes, the Buddha was right. There is dukkha. And then there's a cause of dukkha, which is I'm clinging to my pride, and I think nobody has the right to yell at me. So therefore, because of my pride or because of my opinions, then I'm clinging to that as what is really causing my suffering. I say, wow, the Buddha was right. And then I say, well, if I can stop clinging to my opinions and maybe develop a bit of contentment and gratitude, then when they scolded me, then I could say, well, thank you. You pointed out something that I didn't realize. So thank you for pointing that out. And when I let go of that attachment or that clinging, then I experience this disappearance, like the suffering disappears as soon as I stop clinging. And I say, oh, the Buddha was right. The Four Noble Truths are right. This is beneficial teaching. And then I get so much enthusiasm, so much interest. I really want to go and study this dukkha because I really want to go and study these teachings and to fully master all the teachings of the Buddha, because just on getting on step ABC of this path of practice, I can already see so much benefit, so much gain for me, so much of dropping away of misunderstanding, delusions, and seeing things in a more clear way, and seeing so much benefit with the ABC. I want to get all the way to Z. I want to go all the way through and learn this entire path of practice of the Buddha. So that desire is that's a wholesome chanda, a wholesome desire for the fruit of this path of practice, and that's what the energy factor is. So that's how energy comes in. You could say, in terms of meditation, there's a different way of looking at this first couple of steps. If you're attempting to practice meditation, you need some determination to be willing to sit for the full meditation period. You need some real effort and determination to be able to direct the mind towards the theme of meditation that you're doing at that session, and you need to have some determination to persist with it and to resist any kind of the restlessness, the hindrances, or the pain, or anything else that's attacking you during the meditation, and to hold on to your cushion no matter what. So you need that effort, but no, you don't just need effort. You also need a steering wheel. You need to be able to steer the energy in the right way, and you need to be able to. I think part of steering is knowing when to push on the gas and when to let up the gas and just coast. So just like the skills you need in a car, you turn the ignition, aim the car in the right direction, press the gas, and then steer and moderate your feeding your energy and at the right level so that you're able to keep going, so that you don't stop. You don't like have not enough power, so you're halfway up the hill and you kind of stop because there's not enough power in your vehicle. You've got enough power, and you know how to exert the power, and you know how to continue and to steer and direct yourself so that you're staying on the path. So those parts, you can see in this way how this investigation of Dhamma makes energy effective. If you're just trying to exert energy but you don't know what you're doing, it won't help you that much. So then, with that energy, when they're energetic, a rapture, not of the flesh, arises. This is called piti niramisa. So ramisa is literally means the meat, and there are feelings, pleasure, there's pleasure, that really, it actually, before you're consciously aware of it, it already got started in the meat part of your body. So because you're an animal, if you're hungry and you smell some food, you will start to salivate, and your stomach would start to grinding, and some energy and some enthusiasm would come up, and this is even if you're not at all aware of it. This comes up in the body, saying, food, I want that food. And this is a ramisa vedana. This is a flesh feeling. And nature gave us these things to help us do what we need to do to take care of the body. It's the same thing with a bodily fear, like when the adrenaline comes up or your hackles go up, the hair stands up at the back of your head, and your shoulders get tense, and your parasympathetic nervous system is activated, and you become, I couldn't remember which is sympathetic. But it's the sympathetic. So your hands are, and your feet are filled with blood, and your muscles are ready to go, and so you're ready to put up your dukes and protect yourself from some danger. So this is just what the body does to take care of itself, and then the mind gets feelings associated to that. This is the opposite. There's a completely different branch of Vedana. This is the Niramisa Vedana. These are feelings that are not arising from a bodily reaction. They're feelings that are arising from aspects of mentality. These are feelings that are not you could say, polluted by materialistic craving associated with the welfare of the physical body. So that's, and then the piety is most often referring to a state that comes up in meditation. It's a very difficult term to translate. Bhante Sujata's term rapture is meant to explain how strong and unusual an experience it is. This is not Christian rapture. I think the Christian rapture is when everybody gets picked up and they get transported up to heaven. But it kind of could feel like that sometimes, that you really do feel like, wow, I'm in heaven, I've been transported. It's really out of this world kind of experience. Another translation I've heard is a joyful interest. So this is like a more calmer version of the same thing, that the mind is, or your awareness is connected to the object of meditation, and all of the hindrances or the negativities have all just dropped and disappeared, and the connection is so clear, so unmovable, so natural, so effortless. You hardly need to step on the gas anymore and exert effort. You just need to coast along, because the mind has landed in meditation, and as long as it's not disturbed, it's able to stay there and experience the freedom from any kind of disturbance. So you experience the unification of the mind, and it's accompanied by that piti, that joyful feeling. So here we have moved from the sort of preliminary aspect of the path into a central part of the meditative experience, and the factors of awakening are describing aspects of what's happening within meditation. So you may get that PET and it could last for like a second and then you lose it. And if you notice what were the supporting factors, how you got there, and then repeat the same approach, and then just keep repeating again and again, and you may be able to extend it, get it to last a little bit longer, get it to stabilize, become accustomed to how to access that PET, so that then you're more and more able to access it most of the time, some of the time, all of the time. At least if you're on a meditation retreat or living in a secluded environment and not being disturbed by fights and bullfights and wars and conflicts and other people's emotional issues and all the drama and everything else, then if you're in a calm place and a calm state of mind, then you should be able to fairly easily find out how to be able to access it. But it can be, honestly, for a lot of people, that outside of retreat, with all of the everyday of taking care of your family and taking care of your children, taking care of your parents, taking care of your job, taking care of your customers, taking care of your boss, that there's so many distractions that many people say they can't really access this unless they have the opportunity to take a meditation retreat. And it's for that reason that the Buddha recommends that everybody should take a retreat. You should take 1 day a week or a day and a night a week for practice, at least. On the full moon day, at a minimum once a month, you should take 1 day and 1 night for meditation practice. And you should take the full moon, the dark moon, and the half moon. Then that comes to 4 times a month. Today is the dark moon day, so this is a very good day. If your boss and your family would allow you to take the evening off and to take tomorrow off, then you could start meditating now and meditate through the night, and then tomorrow you could rest and recuperate from your meditation. It is recommended by the Buddha. Retreats are recommended, and it's because it gives you a chance to have that physical seclusion from things that could be disturbing, And with the physical seclusion, you get the mental seclusion. And with the mental seclusion, you have a chance to gain these factors. Then, when the mind is full of rapture, the body and mind become tranquil. This is pasambati. It's not just that doesn't mean going to sleep, taking a rest, just relaxing, just getting into your lazy boy, I guess, and you'll pull the lever so your feet go up and your back goes back, and that's not tranquility. Tranquility is a state that's got deep, profound relaxation combined with a brightness. The quality of the mind is bright, so that you've got mental brightness, mental awareness, but freedom from agitation. And so then, once you get a taste of what that tranquility is like, it's the same process again. You find out how to initiate that factor, how that factor can be developed and perfected. Now, in this case, in this sutta, it's saying when the body is tranquil and one feels bliss, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. Samadhi is called concentration. Sama samadhi is defined in the Eightfold Noble Path in terms of the first four jhanas. And the factors of seclusion from unwholesome states of mind, piti, bliss or joy, rapture, and tranquility are described as being factors within samadhi. In this case, it's described as factors sort of like preliminary to samadhi, or factors contributing or supportive factors for samadhi. However way you count it, I think you could say that when all of these factors are accumulated, then you could come to you could say the perfection of samadhi. And possibly the fourth jhana is a factor that has that perfection of samadhi. The bliss, the joyful feeling fades away. The mental pleasure and pain fade away. All of the disturbing mental factors referred to as joy and grief, the excitement and depression are all, they've all faded away. There's a wonderful term for that. It's called attangama in Pali, which means, atta means west, gama means to go. So they went to the west. And that's an allusion to the sun when the sun sets. So the sun goes down, 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 down. And you say, bye-bye, sun. And you see it goes past the horizon. It's finished. There's still some light, and it comes to the darkness. And so just the same way, all of the negative things in your life, you can see through the path. Maybe when you were young, they were at the zenith, they were at the high point, they were at the greatest amount of intensity. And as you've been practicing, patiently practicing, studying, listening to the Dhamma, practicing, those factors have been kind of like slowly declining, coming to be more weak. And then you can see those those factors within the practice of meditation, you can see all of that mental negativity disappeared, gone. It went past the horizon, it's gone. It went west. Within samadhi, uh, uh, the next factor arises. So, and that is, so I'll read the sutta. At this time, one has initiated the awakening factor of samadhi. You develop and perfect it. And then, having gotten there, they closely watch over that mind immersed in samadhi. This Ajja Upekkhita, this close watching over, at that time the mendicant has initiated the awakening factor of equanimity. So this upekkha is clearly explained in this sutta, not as just being nothing bothers me anymore because I'm equanimous. That's not really the meaning. The meaning is one has the power and the ability to continuously, closely watch over the mind. There's a term for anybody here who's a psychiatrist or a psychologist. There's a term of art they use when they're having an interview with a client. They practice, I've heard they practice, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't say, evenly hovering attention. So they're like aware of what the client is saying. They may be aware of whatever emotion the client is projecting, and they're also aware of any feeling or emotion that's arising within them. And the mind has to be like very calm and alert in order to discern the subtleties of what is really being communicated in the moment during that interview. And so, like in this case, you would be your own psychiatrist. You're able to closely, sympathetically watch over your own mind. That's the real meaning of equanimity. Having developed that awakening factor of equanimity, they develop and perfect it. And when the 7 awakening factors are developed and cultivated, they get these 7 fruits and benefits. They attain enlightenment early on in this life. If not, they attain enlightenment at the time of death. If not, with the extinguishing of the 5 lower fetters, they're extinguished between one life and the next. The 5 lower fetters are the personality view, or attachment to the self and the 5 khandhas, the attachment to rites and rituals, skeptical doubt, greed, and sensual greed, and aversion. So those are gone, and one becomes what's called a non-returner. So after your death and before you take your next life, you get your awakening. With the ending of 5 lower fetters, they're extinguished upon landing. So that means they go into their next life, and immediately upon landing in the next existence, they obtain Nibbana. If not, with the ending of the 5 lower fetters, they're extinguished without extra effort. If not, with the ending of the 5 lower fetters, they're extinguished with extra effort. If not, with the ending of the 5 lower fetters, they head upstream, going to the Akanita realm. That's like a heavenly realm. So this is why I told you don't look down on heaven, because there are a lot of beings who are disciples of the Buddha who have attained noble attainments, who are just almost but not quite all the way to their full enlightenment. And so they've got a little bit more heavenly existence to go before they come to their final awakening. And with this, and so these are the this other teaching. I'm not really emphasizing this because I think it's much more useful for us not to be that worried about which destination we get, but to be especially concerned with what the process is for us to gain a foothold on the awakening factors and to cultivate and to develop them and to allow them to grow and nourish each other in this step-by-step fashion. I'll take these last couple of minutes to say hello to the people who arrived. Gregory, Marilyn, Ryan, Anthony, Mandy, Salminu, Maria, Nova Scotia, Ladybug, and Tonkam. So thank you everybody for your patient listening to this sutta. It's this is a somewhat unique sutta in expressing it in just this way of associating the mindfulness with listening to the Dhamma. And so this particular sutta is one that I recommend reading frequently and memorizing because it's not the type of sutta that you see repeated hundreds of different times in exactly the same way, but this is giving a kind of a distinctive and, in my opinion, a very helpful angle on seeing how to use and how to develop the factors of awakening step by step. So thank you for your patient listening. We can say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.